think so.
Alrighty, I'm recording now. We are live. Any last things we need to talk about before we dive into this? Into Muh Three Gan?
Muh Three Gan.
Is it actually spelled with a 3? You put that on Facebook.
It is.
Really?
Yeah. Everywhere online. Spelled with a 3.
I hate that.
It's Model 3 generative Android.
Yeah, come on. It's in the dang spoilers. It's in the movie.
She says it in a trailer.
You put that on Facebook, and I was like, is he just being edgy? Is that a thing?
No,
Muh Three
it's not.
Gan.
He did his research.
He did do his research. He did more than me. Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and kick it off. Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Movie Rubric. My name is Timothy McDaniel.
Cole, right?
And I'm Josh Glass.
And I love that I didn't have to point. No hesitation. We've got the intro down, boys. It only took
us like 8 episodes.
8 episodes, but boy, we got that intro down. Hey, guys, talking to your mics one more time.
Hello.
They got new mics. I have a decent mic. They got Rode Pod mics. I think this is the best we've sounded. I'm excited.
For our 2 listeners.
Listeners. Now, here's the thing. We sound better. Is our content getting better? I feel like every episode, the audio quality's got a little bit better.
But has the content improved? I don't know.
I mean, we already peaked with the dang Christmas tier list. If you don't know what we're talking about, go back and listen to that episode.
Made a lot of people mad with the Christmas tier list.
I mean, we finally got over the controversy that was Avatar. We finally started talking to each other again.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about,
man,
go give it a listen.
At a New Year party we were at, and I actually think the guy I'm talking about, he's a doctor, listens to our podcast. He and I had a pretty good conversation about Avatar. We shared some things, disagreed on some things. It was nice, but I kind of expected it to split the table a little bit, and then I realized that most people didn't go see Avatar, which I think is why it's one of our least listened to episodes.
Most of our friends didn't. It's killed at box office,
for sure.
but most of our friends have not seen Avatar.
I was going to say, I don't know if you saw, it's officially made a profit. Yeah. So he's like, it's funny. He's like, well, it broke even and is making a profit, so I guess I'm going to make the third one. And I'm like, dude, we know you shot it.
Like,
you've already shot
if
the
this
movie.
thing bombed, you were still going to release it.
You've been, I don't know.
James Cameron's a weird dude.
He's so weird. I was going to say, he's been having wet dreams about Avatar, about Na'vi for 10 years now. Don't act like you're not going to make the movie.
13 years.
Yeah.
13 years.
Yeah, that was funny. I just loved the way he worded it. He's like, I guess they're going to make me make it. And it's like, dude, we know you shot it already.
Then don't make it. I don't care.
It's like, I liked your movie, don't get me wrong, but like, no one's got a gun to your head, James.
Well, where's our Titanic 2? I want to see how that sequel plays out.
Man. No. So this is, speaking of New Year's parties, this is our first one of the new year. I'm excited.
Happy New Year.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year. Did you guys make any resolutions? That's what I want to know. Cole hit me with a pretty good New Year's resolution earlier.
Well, now I got to hear it.
Oh, you want me to talk?
Yeah,
now?
I want to. Well, I didn't set you up just for you to not.
I thought we were just gonna leave it as a mystery. Have them guess.
Yeah.
Type in the comments that you're not allowed to comment. What do you think is New Year's? If we were on YouTube.
Yeah. So I'm on day 10 of no soda, and for you that know me, I'm a avid Mountain Dew lover.
Yes.
So
I usually buy I buy Mountain Dew for parties at my house just for you.
Thank you, Josh.
I've got some Code Reds. Oh, hold on. In a minute, when I catch a break, I'm going to set a Code Red on the table just to watch Cole
listen,
sweat.
I'm doing good. Hopefully I can not be as addicted to it by the end of the month here, and that way I can just ease back into it. Have it every now and then.
I was going to ask, are you trying to just cut it out completely?
I mean, I'm not doing it for the entire month, and hopefully that I'm not craving it as much as I was
the first few days
prior.
So we're not cutting soda out of our life. We're just pausing.
I'm pausing it for right now, and if I want to go back to it, I can. But if not, well, I'm going to try to build up the just drinking water and.
I think that's really respectable. I myself, I'm on 10 days of no meth, no crystal meth.
I mean, that's not respectable.
I didn't set any New Year's resolutions. And then I got called out at church on Sunday when our pastor, your guys' pastor, was like, you need to set resolutions. The only thing worse than not meeting your resolutions is not setting them or setting bad ones. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, well, if it isn't.
Talking to me. Hey, but he did follow it up with, it doesn't matter if it's February 1st, as long as you set something.
You are right. So I need.
Got till February 1st. Figure it out.
Yeah, I got till February 1st to pick a resolution. I don't know. I got my meth under control. I don't know what I need to set up.
I mean, I'm looking at your duo.
All right, listen.
You're double fisting it today.
Here's the thing. Okay.
Can you
I know it's
describe?
been a
I
long
have-
week,
Hey,
but
describe-
it's only Tuesday.
Describe
okay?
to the listeners what I'm looking at.
It's
right
not
here.
that bad. He's making it worse. When we sit down to do the podcast, I pour me a drink. A drink, singular drink. I have a glass of whiskey here. What Cole is, I think, gawking at is the fact that this glass of whiskey is accompanied by 2 fancy cakes. Little Debbie fancy cakes. I think they're Little Debbie.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I believe in setting obtainable goals.
And cutting out whiskey and snack cakes is not
I mean,
an
what a
obtainable goal.
combo.
I could cut out whiskey way before I could cut out my Little Debbie
I
fancy
mean,
cakes.
I'm with you on that one.
Though half those, we've talked about this before. Half those bottles over there, two of those were gifted to me over a year and a half ago.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I just I could easily cut out whiskey. Don't think I could cut out Little Debbie's. So that's a
I've
problem.
got a hardcore crush on the Little Debbie.
I really do. She's
Old
my
Little
girl.
Debbie.
She's my side chick. Is there a food I could cut out? I really probably should cut down on the amount of times I eat out.
Yeah.
My wife and I, we've been really like new year, new bank account, new us. She really wants to be debt free 2023. And like I said, I believe in obtainable goals. And I know we're not going to do it. So I'm just like, we should just go ahead and buy this dishwasher. We're not going to be debt free.
That's one of those things I'm trying to do better on as well, because I'm like, I blow so much money on eating out because it's convenient.
At one time, me and my wife looked at our bank statement for a month, and we counted up how much money we spent on food, like eating out. It about made me sick.
I don't want to. I
could've
don't want to
probably
do
bought
that.
I could have bought a new PC. I could have bought so many things with the amount of money that we just spent eating McDonald's, wherever, just because we didn't feel like cooking.
Here's the trick. Don't look at it.
You can't just ignore the problem.
That's the solution.
If
that
you don't
you're
look
missing.
at it, it doesn't exist, right?
It can't hurt you if you don't know about it.
Man, what sound logic? I mean, brought to you by the Movie Rubric.
But
Just
yeah.
don't look at your
Don't
bank
look at your
statement.
bank
Don't
account.
look
Just
at
swipe your card at the gas station. Put your card in the thing at Sonic. You're fine. I feel bad. Like
Click on every Facebook ad and
All
just
of
never
them.
look at your bank account again.
I'm
You'll be
running.
all right.
I'm running sound for a musical right now for a different school, and like I don't have time to come home and eat dinner, so I had to go through a drive-through. I went to Sonic today, and like I felt guilty. I got a burger. That was it. One burger, and it's like $6, and I'm putting my card in, and I'm like. Yeah, I'm like, I hope my wife doesn't look at the bank account.
Yeah.
She's gonna be so. Yeah, Elena, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry I got Sonic tonight. Please don't hate me. Alrighty, hey, we've talked before we actually start talking about the movie. Any last comments, thoughts? Anyone have a funny story? Poop their pants this week?
Nope.
No. Okay,
Nope.
just me. Okay, moving on. We went and saw M3gan. We talked about it here a little bit. Muh Three Gan. Went and saw M3gan Saturday. Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was an early show and it felt really weird.
It was a little weird.
Really weird,
Got
and
home
also
at like
it
6 o'clock.
felt like forever since we went and saw it.
I will gladly go see an early show if it means there's no kids
That's true.
in this theater. It was a kid-free
Oh.
theater.
And it was a PG-13 movie too.
And it was a PG-13 movie. And like, there was not a kid in sight. And I was like, and I
Go
was
see a rated R movie on a Saturday night.
I was really worried about this movie in particular because of the way it was being hyped up. It was having, like lots of like meme culture references in the trailer. And I was like, there's probably going to be a lot of like Fortnite kids in this theater.
I did see one kid walk in, but they were chill.
Fortnite's going to drop that Megan skin.
Any day.
Yeah.
Any
With
day.
the dance.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I was very happy. It was a weird theater. Before we get too much into the movie, sorry, getting ahead of myself. Josh, I know you usually do research, and I feel like I don't always give you a chance to actually talk about some of the stuff. You did some background research on this movie. What'd you find, about the directors, the cast, things like that?
Yeah, so M3gan was directed by Gerard Johnston. I didn't recognize the name, and I realized why, because it's only the second movie he's ever directed. He's produced and written a handful of other TV shows and no-name movies, but nothing really to speak of. Writers, first one I looked up, Akilah Cooper. I'm assuming, shouldn't assume genders, but they're best known for producing 26 episodes of the TV show Luke Cage. I haven't seen it, but I've heard meh things about
The
it.
kids taught me a new word today, mittens. It means when something is like, okay, like
Yeah.
it's good, it's funny, but it's not like exceptionally good.
Yeah, you know what? That's stupid.
Is that Luke Cage?
Luke Cage's mittens.
Okay.
I hope I'm using that right. Kids, if you're listening, don't hate me for misusing your slang.
I mean,
They were
no cap.
no cap. They were also the screenplay writer for *Malignant*, the 2021 horror film. I've seen it. I've seen advertisements for it, but I didn't go see it. So I don't know how that is.
I heard it was really good.
I thought it looked good, and then I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of horror movies for me because there's so many of them. I look at them and I think, oh, that looks interesting, and then I don't watch it.
Yeah. And then the producer, he also was credited as a writer too, James Wan. Didn't recognize the name right off the bat, but when you click on his IMDb, he's done lots and lots of horror suspense films like Saw, The Conjuring 1 and 2, Furious 7, 2018 Aquaman. So he's got a lot of things under his belt. I think he was kind of probably the driving force behind the movie. As far as actors go, it didn't have a huge cast that I recognized.
Really, no one.
Yeah,
right?
The
Allison Williams, who played Gemma, she had a few things under her belt, but
the guy that played the boss was in Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Was he?
Yeah.
I didn't get down that far on the IMDb. He wasn't
I
like
thought
one of
Cole-
the top credited.
I thought
people,
Cole
so-
was gonna say for a second that he was Shang-Chi, and I was gonna be like, Cole,
That was
you're
not.
doing a racism.
That was not. Okay, so funny story about that.
Funny story.
Funny story about a time I was racist.
No, I'm like, I've seen this guy and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, he was Shang-Chi. And then I was
You
like,
did think it.
I did it. I was like, in the comfort of my own home. I'm like, I did a racism. I just like, whoops.
Who was he in Shang-Chi? Do you know?
I forgot.
Was
the
he like
character's
no
name.
name goon number 3?
No, he was somewhat of an important character.
So important you don't even know who he was.
I didn't like the movie.
Fair enough.
John is what he's credited
Yeah,
as.
whoever the heck John was.
So no name goon number 4.
Yeah.
Is what I'm hearing. When I hear
It's
John.
easily number 2.
Isn't that the name of the babies on The Incredibles?
That's Jack.
Jack.
Jack,
Okay,
yeah.
so sorry. You brought up James Wan. He's done a lot of stuff. He does a lot of Blumhouse stuff, I'm pretty sure. Isn't that who did this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blumhouse did this one. They
Makes sense, yeah.
they've done Black Phone, Whiplash. I didn't realize they did Whiplash.
Mhm.
That was one I
Yeah,
didn't
that's a
realize.
weird one for them.
Yeah, it's kind of out of the character. Glass, Halloween, 2018, 21, and 2022.
I think with the exception of Whiplash, Blumhouse, in my mind, is eternally known for just being okay. Like they just put out content.
I mean,
and
Halloween
Halloween
2018 was good.
but it gave us Halloween ends. It led
And Halloween Kills.
Listen, can
it
we?
led to that.
Rogue One is in the Star Wars saga. You love that movie, but does that mean it gave us The Last Jedi?
Kind
Ooh.
of, a little bit.
So you're going to blame Rogue One for The Last Jedi?
No, hold on. Episode 7 came out before Rogue One. I'm going to blame Rogue One for The Last Jedi. Or
Yeah.
sorry, I'm going to blame Episode 7 for The Last Jedi.
Yeah, but Rogue One came out before The Last Jedi.
Yeah, but like it
Rogue
didn't
One was
start the chain.
2016.
It didn't reboot.
Last Jedi was 2017.
It didn't reboot a dead
Lawyered.
franchise. Lawyered. You got me. I was going to say this earlier when you're talking about movies. Real quick, what is, because it might help audiences decide, while we talk spoiler free here, whether they should go see this or not. What's your guys' favorite scary movie? Do you guys have one?
I mean, there's different types of scary movies. There's slasher. There's like the supernatural ones. There's just
Like gun to your head, though. Like the one
if I had to pick one,
Yeah.
I like The Shining.
The Shining? Okay.
Shining is one of my favorite ones.
So
but
Cole's
that's,
opinion's wrong. Like just
and that's one of my personal favorites. But
classic.
but also for like if you want like a slasher one, I mean you can't go wrong with like Nightmare on Elm Street. That's a fun one.
yeah. There are a lot of classics. And we discussed this on the Christmas thing.
Yes.
Like, just because they're classics doesn't mean they're
Well, wait
good.
till next
Oh, I
Halloween
know.
when we do the Halloween Christmas or Halloween Christmas tier list. Halloween tier list.
Let's do a whole episode that's just a Shining tier list. And it's
We're gonna write all the scenes from The Shining.
yeah.
Oh boy.
I don't like The Shining, but that's okay. I recognize, like you said, like I know there's a lot of people that love that movie.
Stanley Kubrick and
My mind goes to, and I wouldn't say like this is always going to be my favorite or always is my favorite. It depends on the mood I'm in, but I love the first Conjuring movie.
that's a good one.
Like, I love that.
I don't watch enough scary movies to really form a formidable opinion. If I had to guess right now or say right now, it'd probably be Halloween 2018 just because I
Mhm.
watched it right before the last Halloween movie came out.
Mhm.
So it's fresh on my mind. But I don't watch enough of those
Yeah.
kind of movies to really form a.
I mean,
This is my favorite one.
I mean, that one's really good. I still like the original as well.
The original's good in the sense that it's just like
It has iconic moments.
it has super iconic moments for a slasher film, and it kind of started. I feel like it kind of started the slasher
It was one of the
bit.
It was not the first, but it was one of the first.
It really kind of like pushed it to the forefront.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it got when we watched it as a group? Because
Like a 5 something.
it's one of our lowest scoring movies.
It's kind of
It was also
disgusting.
the first movie that we watched as a group, though.
This is true. So you think we hadn't perfected our 1 to 10 rating system
We
yet?
still haven't. Princess Diaries got a 10 from some people.
Yeah, hold on.
Last week.
Well, actually, I think Princess Diaries scored lower than I was expecting it to whenever I heard the result. What did it end up getting? Princess Diaries?
8.2.
That's lower. I expected a 9.
Well,
Well,
the two girls gave it a 10, and the guys gave it like
Mid.
But you,
7.
you don't
7
think
and a
that,
half.
that movie to me is like a 9 in my mind. And I haven't seen it in a year. Or
I
two.
didn't care. I thought it was
You don't
just
like Princess
I
Diaries?
thought it was like just a mid 2000s movie.
Oh, see, I love that movie. And maybe it's just because I watched it a lot as a kid.
Princess Diaries, not Princess Bride.
You're thinking Princess
I'm Princess Bride. I
was
am.
saying,
oh my god,
dude, I'm kind
Diaries
of
is
questioning you
like-
right
I
now.
really
Anne
am.
Hathaway, right?
Hold on, what is the Princess Diaries?
That's with Anne Hathaway, and she's
And
like,
Mary Poppins.
Well, I'm
Amer-
the biggest idiot in the world.
Say, you
here.
don't-
You sound really strange.
I was
sitting
like-
out here defending.
I just put
Princess
my-
Diaries.
I just put my foot in my mouth so hard I'm tasting my heel.
say you
right
love,
now.
hold on, you love Princess Bride so much that you didn't even know what the name of the movie was.
Isn't that bad? That's where I'm at right now. I've had too many little Debbie's fancy
Yeah.
cakes. They're mulling my mind.
Now, when Princess Bride gets put in there eventually, that'll be 10s across the board.
That makes sense. So that's the thing. I think in my mind, yes, I got the titles mixed up. So when I saw in the chat that it scored like an 8, I was like, what? No. I was so concerned.
Make sure I didn't.
It
Actually
all
type
makes sense now.
Yeah.
It really does. Okay.
We got off on a tangent.
Wow, we really did. Muh Three Gan.
Sorry about that.
Muh Three Gan. No, people come here for our tangents. That's
Yeah.
why they're here.
They don't even listen to the review after that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Going into it, I thought it was going to be kind of bad funny. Like it was going to be a bad movie, but I was going to laugh the whole time, and it was just going to be so bad it was incredible. And I've seen that this movie was like very overly hyped by the media. Do you guys think, spoiler free here again before we get into spoilers, do you think the movie lived up to the hype?
No.
I agree.
I mean,
I saw the first preview for this when we went and saw Halloween.
ends
Halloween ends. When
Yeah.
was that?
October.
In October. I saw it then, and I was like, "This is gonna be something."
Yeah.
And then I left the theater, and I was just like, "It was a movie."
Yep.
I
It's kind of what
I mean, I enjoyed it, but it didn't really.
there was a lot to
there was
enjoy.
There was
in it.
nothing wow about it.
Yeah, it's not like it doesn't blow you away. It's just like that's a quality film, and there's a bunch of mid mittens.
There's a lot of mittens going on in this movie.
There's a lot of myths. Is this? I'm trying to find something here real quick. I saw. I don't know if this is it or not. An ad from Megan on YouTube the other day, and I was so. This isn't it. I wish I could find it. It was like an accolades trailer, and it was like New York Times, one of the most fun I've had in the theater. And then it said like the next thing. It said like Rotten Tomatoes. It lives up to the hype, and it was that comment there. Then I was like, no.
It didn't.
Not
Like,
really.
did any of these, and it had like where it like splashes all the reviews on the screen, but it only picks like the good reviews, and they were all like 5 out of 5s and 4 out of 5s. I was like, did I watch the same movie? I kind of had that thought.
Yeah.
All right, and then I feel like that's honestly close to as far as we can go before we get into spoilers. So if you're listening and you're thinking about going to see Megan, verbal thumbs up, thumbs down. Should listeners go see Muh Three Gan?
I would give it a thumbs up. I think they should go see it because it's just it's a fun time.
I think if you know what you're going to see, like a goofy, somewhat suspenseful jump scare movie, then yes.
Do you like Child's Play?
It was Android 13 Child's Play.
Yeah.
It really was. Yeah.
If
you
you
like
enjoy
Child's
that
Play.
kind of movie, then yes. But if you're looking for anything else,
Like Halloween,
Yeah.
anything from the Halloween saga, that kind of slasher, you're not going to get it.
Wild, maybe not wild. It's maybe not as wild as like it sounds, but like it just goes against what you guys saying. I say wait for it to come to DVD or rent it at a Redbox. It's probably going to go to Netflix in like 4 months' time. I don't think it's going to live in theaters very long. I'd say unless this is a movie like Josh said, if you know you like this kind of movie, then go see it. But if you're on the fence, I say wait to rent it or stream it because I think it'd be a really fun get together with the guys, have a beer, watch it.
It's like,
Yeah.
This
You
would
know.
be one.
I guess, yeah.
If I was to rewatch it, it would not be a solo watch. It would be with
Yeah.
a group.
Yeah, that's the thing. I would never watch this movie on its own. a movie night 10 years from now, like if we want something bad funny to watch, maybe I'd put it in, maybe. But okay, that's it. Any last things, spoiler free things you think the audience needs to know?
I got nothing.
All right.
In fact, this might be the lowest budgeted movie we've ever watched.
What's the budget?
Lower than The Menu.
It's $12 million. I don't remember what The Menu was. I think it was like $30 million.
Really? Okay. We need to look that up later. That's interesting. Okay. I wouldn't. It to its credit, to Megan's credit, it didn't feel incredibly low budget.
No. I mean, besides the actors, like
Some of the actors.
Not
Higher
being
budget-
amazing, but
higher
yeah.
budget movie, they could have got some higher end actors.
Yeah.
No, they
Besides that,
No,
it
they got
didn't-
John from
Yeah,
Shang-Chi.
John from Shang-Chi
You know-
that everybody else realized.
Thinking back to The Menu, there were a lot of big names in The Menu. A lot of people who I recognize them from a discernible IP. So that would make sense if this movie had such a low budget. It's probably just because they didn't have to pay people.
Yeah.
Pay actors. All right. Well, there it is. There's the spoiler free part. We're going to dive into spoilers. Here's your spoiler warning. I need to get a little jingle that plays here. Spoilers. There it was. I didn't dislike the movie. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. Is I think the nicest thing I could say about it. It was very middling. It was very mittens. It was very mid.
Very mittens.
It was a C tier movie. Does anyone have a strikingly different opinion?
No.
No.
I mean, I would say it's a mid movie that I really enjoyed because for this movie, it's not. I think it's kind of aware how goofy it is,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a lot of funny parts, and it leans more towards into the comedy
Yeah.
than the horror. And I think it did the comedy very well.
Mm-hmm. I laughed.
Like a lot of the humor is you kind of have to have a little bit of a darker sense of humor to
yeah.
to enjoy it, but.
Except
So
when she starts singing.
I mean, that's just where
That's
Those
just
are probably
funny.
my
That's
favorite
just
that was
goofy.
just
parts of
hilarious.
the movie.
Singing titanium.
And it's that stupid, distorted
Oh,
computer
yeah.
voice.
It sounds like flipping the portal lady.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, though. That was how I left. I felt like it tried to be a comedy and a horror, and I wished
It
had
wasn't
just,
scary.
I wished it had just leaned into comedy.
Yeah.
Because I think it opens up on the Perpetual Pets ad. Oh my gosh, I just my poor pop filter just
Yeah.
died a little bit.
Perpetual Pets.
Perpetual
So,
Pets.
I
Look
mean-
away from the mic when I say that one. Which was hilarious. This little girl's dog dies, and it's go get you what is a glorified iPad Furby.
Yeah.
And the song and the jingle, it was very tongue in cheek. And I was like, I hope the rest of the movie is like this. If it had been, I would have probably really liked the movie, but it takes itself too seriously from time to time,
Yeah.
and it loses that comedic edge.
Mhm.
Yep.
And on that note, in addition to taking itself seriously, I didn't like any of the people in this movie.
No, all the characters.
They
were
all kind of
trash.
suck.
They were, they're just not good.
Yeah.
The movie opens right on the parents and the daughter in the car, and
Mhm.
she's playing with her perpetual pet. She's playing with a Furby. I'm going to call it a Furby. I know it's not, but I also don't like saying so many
No,
plosives
we're
into
gonna
my
say as many
microphone.
P
Yeah.
sounds here.
as many P nouns.
P nouns.
It opens with them in their car, and she's playing with her toy, and the mom is upset with the dad. She's like, I thought we were going to limit screen time. And he's like, oh, it's fine. We're in the car. And she's like, we need to stick to rules. And it already pits us as okay, they're fighting over something very trivial,
Mhm.
right? And I was like, okay, is this I thought it was going to go from where her parents were perfect. They were the best parents, and then they died. But it was no, her parents are kind of, the mom maybe not as much, but the dad just a little bit. Her parents are kind of trash bags, and then they parked in the middle of the road and got hit by a plow. Awful. But I also didn't miss them,
I'm like,
and
that's
neither
sad.
did the daughter.
And I think
Yeah, they
part
kind of they rushed the.
yeah.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why we didn't miss them is because they didn't focus on the fact that the parents died except for 2 scenes.
No one does. Yeah,
The whole movie, it's the whole reason this is happening is because her parents died. But we didn't see a funeral. We didn't see Katie cry about her parents die until
halfway through
the movie.
Yeah.
Gemma could care less that her sister just died
Mhm.
and that she's now the legal guardian of this child.
And she apparently doesn't take a day off work, which means I
Yeah.
guess there was no funeral.
Yeah.
Just
Well, no, she says that she took some weeks off, so much time over the
She
last
did.
few weeks,
Mhm.
and that she has to go back to work. But it jumps so much that it doesn't even look like there was anything.
I remember the boss. Speaking of characters, I I didn't dislike the boss because I thought he was actually one of the more reasonable people in this movie.
He was justified in his anger.
The boss
But
says
his
like
writing was not.
he says
great
like
either.
I need a prototype on my desk by Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and then like she gets the accident happens, and then now all of a sudden we're adopting a kid, and she's back at work,
Mm-hmm.
and like she hasn't asked for a postponement that we've seen this far, which made me imply that maybe she didn't actually really take more than like a day off.
Yeah.
And now maybe that was just maybe I misunderstood the scene, or she did take time off and the movie didn't tell us. But that's the thing. The movie didn't tell us. The movie didn't show us that time. It didn't show us the funeral. And you're right about that.
Movie skipped a lot of stuff. Like it was only like an hour and 40-minute movie, so it was pretty short.
This has
And
the,
whereas Avatar was way too long and showed a bunch of stuff that didn't have to be there for the story. This movie cut out a bunch of stuff that could have made the storyline so much better.
Oh, yeah.
James Cameron, share some of your runtime with Megan.
Yeah. It's like the theaters got together. It was like, well, we're playing a 3-hour movie this time, so we gotta you gotta limit to an hour and 40 minutes.
Megan's like the pregame for Avatar.
Yeah.
Like you watch Megan and then go watch Avatar.
Like that movie, like it was so funny because the last movie we saw was Avatar, and it's like that movie felt really short compared to
It did.
what we just watched.
It got over, and I was like, oh, that's
That was
the
it?
end. That's it.
Like, so I don't like the parents. I don't like Jimna, her new aunt now, like, you know, parental figure.
Guardian, yeah.
She's just kind of very meh. She doesn't really show that she cares about the kid. The story tells us she cares about the kid, but
Yeah.
they don't ever show it. And then
Yeah.
the kid apparently is not sad her parents are upset. She has zero emotions until Megan gets introduced, and then those emotions are pure like happiness. And maybe that's what the movie was trying to do, but I didn't like it.
I didn't like the way they portrayed it at all. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I think
half the time you looked at Kate, the shot panned to Katie, and she was just with like this
A blank
terrible
face.
blank
Yeah.
face. It was bad.
I think like the whole Megan obsession, which you could symbolize it as, well, instead of having to deal with the kid, just give them technology and they'll sort itself out.
That's what they kind of
They
did,
The-
basically, or said.
The movie had this really weird anti-technology message to
Yeah.
it. And I get if you want to have an anti-AI
Yeah.
message
Mhm.
because of what's happening, like, but like there's one scene in particular that stands out in my mind. The kid says, "You're not going to read me a bedtime story," and Jimna's like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll do that." And she's like, "I don't have any books." And the movie frames her like a villain for not having books. It's like she just adopted this kid 2 days ago. Like,
Yeah.
give her a break.
She's a single woman. In
like,
her
Yeah.
what would you do
20s,
in that
30s.
situation?
And she's like, "That's okay. I can download one on my phone." She didn't say, "I'm not going to read you a book." She
Yeah.
said, "I'll download you one." And then she sits there awkwardly and she goes, "Oh, I have to like wait for the app to update." And the movie frames it like, look at this idiot relying on
So much
technology.
technology,
And
yeah.
I'm like, what? No.
How dare you not have books in your house?
And they-
21st century.
They did stuff like that multiple times throughout the movie, implying that technology itself was phones were evil. And I'm like, that's not what this movie is about. This
No.
movie's about a robotic AI doll killing people.
Yeah.
Why
Well, that's
are
what
we
it was supposed to be.
yeah,
about.
that's what it was
But the
portrayed
body
as.
count is
4?
3 people and a dog.
Oh yeah,
Hold on. I counted 4. She killed the boss, his assistant, the old lady, and the kid. The boy.
Well,
the punk
okay,
boy.
if you count the punk boy as her
Hey.
death,
I shoved Cole in front of a semi.
he didn't
Hey.
shove. She didn't shove.
yeah,
him.
he tripped.
He tripped.
I think we can,
No,
for the sake of the movie, she killed him.
No,
he
that-
would not have died
I don't-
had she not
Okay, yeah, I'll give
ripped
you
off
that.
his ear and
You
done
can
what she did.
deduce that her actions caused his death, but she did not like physically shove him in front of the car.
as far as I see, the car killed her. The driver killed that kid.
But
I-
either way, for a scary movie, 4 deaths is
Yeah.
not much.
I consider that a body count, but yeah, I was counting it up earlier, and I have that on here. She only killed 4 people.
Yeah.
2 of them were back to back.
Yeah.
One of them, I guess, if you count the dog, the old lady, I didn't feel bad when she died. Is that bad?
I mean-
going back to not likable characters.
Yeah,
She
if
made me
you're-
laugh.
she was pretty funny.
She was kind of funny. I don't know. I have a sore spot for. I want to phrase this nicely so as to not upset anybody. Immature dog owners, irresponsible dog owners. If you have a large dog, especially if that dog is aggressive, it needs to be on a leash or it needs to be
Mhm.
inside. And this woman just let this very openly aggressive dog roam the neighborhood. That's very irresponsible.
Oh, yeah.
And if that upsets you, I'm sorry, but like consider why that upsets you and consider buying your dog a leash. Because if you care for your dog, you don't want it to get hit by a car.
Yeah.
Or like what
Or
happened.
be responsible for
Or like get
attacking
kidnapped by an
somebody.
AI doll. Like, like
Yeah.
a leash would have saved that dog's life and the owner's life.
Yeah.
So buy a leash. That is my message. It's not anti-technology. It's
Buy a leash.
Buy a leash for your dog.
Fix your fence.
Yeah.
All those things.
So I wasn't upset when she died, but like the way she died, I want to know where she bought that pressure washer or whatever. It was a weed sprayer. It wasn't even a pressure washer.
No, it was
like,
a pressure washer.
Was
She
it?
makes
With the weed
mention of
killer.
the pressure
Yeah.
washer.
Okay. I want to know where this lady bought a pressure washer so strong it picked a grown woman up off the ground and flung her violently into a
and
wall.
that doesn't have to be hooked up to water. It's
Yeah.
just sitting in the shed, and Megan's like, "Boo," and just knocks her back 6
I also
feet.
big plot hole. I don't even know if like you hear a pressure washer, right? You hear that sucker running.
I
from
want to
like,
say you do.
you should have heard a pressure washer running from like a half a mile away.
Yeah.
And like this one was silent. So
Yeah.
if the movie was trying to sell me a pressure washer, it worked. I'm like, show me where that's at. And
Now-
here's my wallet.
My father-in-law does have an electric pressure washer, and it's quiet until you pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's just sitting there,
I'm just gonna go with that.
Silent.
As electric.
but it doesn't have enough power to push a
Yeah.
full-grown human 6 feet back.
I guess like unless Megan is really, really good at cleaning, like they were like, we can't find the body or anything like
Mhm.
that. And it's like she sprayed the woman's face off with a pressure washer. There's got to be parts of that around. Like you're not hiding that.
I
Yeah.
mean, she could.
Continuity was a mess.
She's
in
not-
this movie.
I mean, she's an AI. She's not gonna leave fingerprints.
The fingerprints, yeah, I'm fine, but like they
she
were
could,
like,
she could dispose of a body.
They were
Who's to
like,
say she
what's her
can't?
fa-
Apparently, she took the dog like 5 miles away or something like that.
correct me if I'm
That was-
misremembering, but they didn't know how she was killed. They just said she's missing.
Yeah.
And
Think
that's
so.
what I'm saying. I feel
No,
like
there was a body bag.
was
There was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
I'll
Yeah,
give you
they're
credit.
zipping up a body bag, and
I'll
it's
give
like,
the movie credit on that one then. I
because
guess
the
I
police
just
officer's
missed that.
like, "That's going to be hard to do," and it pans like that awkward pan over to the dead body.
yeah.
Just like you can't help but snicker at it
Yeah.
because it's like this is really dumb,
It's so,
but I
dumb.
love it.
Yeah. I think for half the movie, the town only had one police officer too, which I thought was funny. Like anytime something happened, it was the same like super tan man with a mustache showed
Love
up.
it.
And
And
she
he-
looked like she lived in like Seattle or something.
Yeah.
Like it was a bigger city, Washington. So I'm assuming Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, one cop comes to her door every time.
And this cop clearly does not care for his job.
Yeah.
Like he puts in the minimum effort to be called a
Yes.
cop. And I was like, is there no other cops in this town?
Mhm.
You finally see some more later. I thought like when she was being interviewed by the investigator, she was like, "Are you trying to link these two?" He's like, "No, it's just a funny coincidence." And I thought that was such a, once again, pick whether you're a comedy or a scary movie. This was a serious moment. You
Mhm.
undercut any tension there would
Well,
be.
no, it's just that he laughs. He goes, "Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have laughed at that."
Yeah.
I'm like, it's fantastic. The quality
And
film
that-
here.
when he's talking about laughing about something, isn't he talking about the ear?
Yeah.
He's like, I found the ear, yada yada, and then he laughs. Oh, sorry, shouldn't have laughed at that.
Yeah, it was
It was so weird.
odd. Kind of like side note, unless you guys have something else here. Favorite scenes of the movie? My favorite scene was the kid getting his ear ripped off. That's
Yeah.
the only time I cringed in this entire movie.
Yeah.
Like I found myself like squirming a little bit as like this kid's super elastic ear is just slowly
Yeah.
pulled from his head. They stretched it. That was pretty cool. That was probably my favorite
I
scene.
mean, that's up there.
It's
my-
the dancing, isn't it?
Yeah,
I knew it. I knew it.
it's the dance, grabbing the blade and just slicing them up. Like it's like this really tense scene. This dude's running for his life, and she's dang Fortnite dancing over there.
And like,
Okay, but
It's really ridiculous.
are we going to say the same thing?
I don't know. Say what you're gonna say.
There's no music. I mean, there's music in the movie,
Mhm.
but that's not in the hallway. She's just dancing.
Yeah,
That's such an awkward scene if you're in that scene.
I figured like she was just a quirky doll showing off her
Yeah.
quirky Fortnite dance, and
Yes, it's just
It was in the trailers.
It was, yeah.
They
I mean,
had to have it in there.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the iconic moment everyone gets from this.
what I was gonna say is she frames the assistant for murder,
Mhm.
and she brings up the fact he stole files. But other than bringing that up, there was a decently large like foreshadowing part of it was some of the worst excuse of foreshadowing ever. I actually meant to joke with your wife about how like hope you didn't read into that because he steals files at one point
Yeah.
and does nothing.
Nothing.
It doesn't go anywhere.
The movie forgets about it until she makes a comment. She's like, "You sold those files, so you had to kill your boss, and then you killed yourself." And I'm like, "We're in a huge tech firm. Like, there's a camera, right?
Someone would have figured
Like,
out that you stole
someone
those.
is watching a camera,
Yeah.
like of Megan running down this hallway killing people. Like, that's not going unnoticed.
Yeah.
And you could maybe argue she hacked the mainframe. Like,
well,
but they
I think she
unplugged her.
did though, because like you saw when she walked by the security system, all she did was walk by, and it like stopped alarming.
Okay. Still though,
Like whenever the fire alarm started going off and like
Mm-hmm.
the sirens were going off, she walked right by it, didn't touch it, didn't look at it, nothing, and it just shut off.
So maybe she hacked the cameras. I'll
Yeah.
give Megan
She could've.
another continuity point.
Getting smarter. She was smart. She was learning as it went, and apparently she knew how to drive a car and/or hotwire this car because there was no
a big one on my
how does things know how to
issues.
drive?
I didn't think it was a hot wire so much as it wasn't a Tesla she jumped in, but I assumed it was something akin to a Tesla, something that has like auto start, like automatic.
You gotta have the
driving.
key though. Where's the
I mean,
fob
not
at?
if you're like a super advanced AI robot capable of apparently hacking like an entire building's like security system.
We could say that for anything though on here.
You're right, but like that was my head canon is that like she hacked,
5 out of 5s all across
she
the board.
hacked what is the equivalent of a Tesla and like just made it,
was
drive
like
itself.
some Audi or
Yeah,
Audi or something.
I know
But
it
yeah,
wasn't. Yeah, but
that was a big problem. Like there was tons of continuity problems, but it's like 1, she just randomly knew the car was there. 2, she had the key, or in your case, she hotwired it with her brain. And 3, when did she learn to drive?
She was designed to do that, evidently.
What?
I mean,
I know she was a learning robot, but
She has to be exposed to it first.
she's been in plenty of cars. Like I think, here's the thing.
But wait, I would give you that if she was placed in the front seat every time they were in the car. She was in the back seat behind the driver.
This ain't a flipping
You
spider
can't-
thing this time.
She's
You can't learn how to
basically-
drive from the
she's-
back seat.
By the end of the movie, I hate that I'm defending Megan right now. I hate that I'm defending this movie. I feel like by the end of the movie, she's like downloading the internet to her brain. Like I feel like
Yeah.
somewhere in there she downloaded a driver's ed tutorial video and like got the necessary instructions for
Maybe
a
all
car.
those awkward sleeping scenes
Yeah.
that we got to see
Yeah,
was
that
she
was-
was just learning
And, like,
how to drive a car.
Maybe she didn't drive it. Like a Tesla, if I'm understanding it correctly, you can basically plug a GPS coordinate in. It's going to drive itself there.
Why
you
even
know.
have her drive?
Roundabout,
Just get her on, have her run like the dang dog again.
On all fours. Yeah. So the car didn't bother me. I get why it did bother you guys, but the car didn't bother
but there's
me.
one other thing that bothers me.
Hold on, before you, Josh, did you say your favorite scene yet?
My favorite scene, probably for just the sheer goofiness, is when she's on the shelf with all the other dolls. She's just got that stupid look on her face, and she's just like sitting there.
I love it.
With the other dolls. I'm like, that is.
Have me
just
come back to the camp
ridiculous.
later because I've got comments about that camp. Cole, what were you going to say? Sorry. Was this your least favorite scene or is it just a problem?
It's a big issue. Another
Okay.
issue, more so than the car. How the heck did Katie know how to work Bruce? Because she showed how he
That is
worked.
true, yeah.
They explained
Yeah.
how he worked, but she never actually trained with him. So she was able to fight off Megan
Yeah.
with
a
Bruce
giant robot
that she has never
yeah.
practiced with, never even hinted that she's picked up again. Because it's been since the first act. We've had an hour and a half of movie prior to this.
I was fine with it for two
No,
reasons.
you're
One,
defending Megan.
no. I'm not defending like the continuity part of it. No, I agree. It's really dumb. Personally, I was happy with it because one, it was a halfway decent use of foreshadowing, like
Yep.
in Chekhov's
Yeah.
gun. They brought the robot back. Cool. Okay. I kind of,
could've done it better.
the moment they introduced him, I was like, we're probably going to get like a fight between these two. But two, like I just enjoyed seeing like goofy robot
Well,
fighting.
that's
like,
fine.
As stupid as that
They-
is, like I was like, okay, this movie got kind of cool
Guess
for
what?
a second.
They could fix that with one simple change. Have Gemma use Bruce.
I agree.
Or just show Katie learning how to use Bruce. Like,
No, we
this
don't
is
have-
Katie and Gemma bonding time. They're playing with Bruce more than just the one scene.
I 100% agree with you. Like, it's a terrible continuity plot point, but as far as entertainment goes, I was fine with it.
Yeah,
for the pure
it's entertaining.
Oh, yeah,
value,
entertaining.
yeah.
It was fine.
Say, if you're looking for continuity, this is not the film.
This is why the rubric's there. Yeah. So this camp, unless someone else has a comment about
No,
Bruce,
no,
I want to
I want to hear your take on this camp.
This camp is awful, and like this kid that very clearly like has been sent there for a reason because he can't do normal school, like whatever the bully kid was.
Yeah, what?
He's way older than the other kids, and a little girl voices her concern about being paired with this kid, implying that he has done something in the past.
Yeah.
Why is he allowed back at the camp?
Mm-hmm.
And then why do you pair him with the girl who doesn't go to school there? You're pairing him with the new girl,
Yeah.
and then you're sending them into the woods unsupervised,
Hunting chestnuts.
hunting chestnuts just into the woods unsupervised. And then I was like, okay, my first thought was if they're sending these kids into the woods, it's probably like a gated area, like where they can't go very far. And then a kid falls into the highway.
Yeah. This is the
And I'm like,
worst place in
Yeah,
the world.
I was
love
like,
it.
this has got to be the worst school
Yeah.
in the
Hey,
history of movie
alternative
schools.
school.
Hear
too.
me out. Hear me out. Funding's rough.
You guys are teachers. You should know.
Yeah, you know,
I
just
just
do what you got to do. But yeah, the school was pretty bad.
I feel like if I pair two kids up and a kid comes, hey, you know, that kid bullied me the last time we were together. I'm not going to send that bully with the new girl. I'm going to send him with like a guy his size and maybe a third person. Like that's the teacher in me. Which
Group of three.
Group of three, yeah, 100%. It was awful. And then I love how comedically evil the bully kid was.
He was, yeah.
He's just like, hold this, and shoves the... I don't even know what that was. It was like a oversized cockabrill. I don't know what it was.
I think it was a chestnut.
Was that a chestnut?
I'm assuming that's because they were like picking him up.
Oh, I've never seen one that hasn't been roasted on an open fire.
Oh, that's like a gumball kind of thing.
Yeah. But he just shoves it into her hand. And I was like, oh, why are we like so like comic book evil all of a sudden in this movie?
There's only one other set of villains. I mean, I could say was worse than that would not be the band geeks from
from Halloween Ends.
Halloween Ends. He's up there with them. He might as well just join the group.
It's like that same level of thinking though, of like we just need a kid to be mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Blumhouse doesn't have a good track record for bullies.
Yeah. That wasn't my least favorite scene.
Okay, I got to hear this.
My least favorite scene was the first therapy session at the house.
Yeah.
Therapist comes, it's been maybe a week, and she's like upset that Jimna doesn't have toys. Okay, fine, whatever. She's like, why don't you two just interact? And it just feels like such a forced, dumb scene. And if you're a therapist, let me know if I'm wrong. I just feel like, one, this would never happen. So two, Jimna opens up a toy and decides to start playing with Katie. Cool. She's upset that Jimna's not interacting with Katie. And then the moment that Jimna tries to start being like, hey, let me show you how to use this toy, the lady's like, how about we let Katie lead the exam? And I was like, what is this one? Like, that was the cringiest, most poorly written scene I think I've seen in a very hot second in the theaters.
Yeah.
Like, that toppled almost any poor scene I've seen in a movie recently, just writing wise. That was hands down my least favorite scene.
I mean, she wasn't a good therapist at all.
No.
No.
Absolutely.
She was the actual worst therapist.
I mean, she pointed out that, Katie might be having feelings for Megan.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
no, duh.
Anybody on the street could be telling you that.
Give this lady an award. She's rather quite the scholar there.
I love how her assistant flipped from earlier in the movie, I don't want to be designing something that's going to be replacing parents. I have a moral objection to that. And then later on in the movie, when Megan's like, I think this thing might be like forming too much of a connection with Katie, she's like, oh, it's fine, that's what she's supposed to do. I'm like, where did your moral objection
because they were about to make bank.
Yeah. And then even later she's like, I think Megan might be killing people, and that lady's like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
Like,
we didn't program her for that.
I would hope not. You haven't done any program her to drive a car either.
Yeah.
I put on here like, anyone should know what's up with Megan when you can't access GPS data the day and time that people are killed. Instantly, I'm letting authorities and my boss know.
Yeah.
Like
I'm putting that thing in a crusher.
Yeah, like
it's done.
You have to be really stupid to try and pretend it's not the doll in that case.
Yeah.
Like it was so dumb.
Oh, it's impossible. Megan can't kill anyone.
She can't kill people,
but she can do all these other things.
We didn't program her to do that. And it's like, isn't the whole point is that she does things she's not programmed to do?
Yeah, she learns the whole time.
That's the whole idea of this character.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this. How'd you guys feel about the PG-13 rating?
That was fine.
Yeah, I don't think it was so overboard.
There wasn't a lot of blood and gore. Like when the kid gets hit by a car, you see a little bit of a blood splatter on the pavement.
No, I'm talking the other way around. Do you think that it was underrated? Like, for the style of movie that it was, should it have been rated R?
Like, should they have added more stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I think this would have benefited more from an R rating.
That's how I feel too.
I think, if you had leaned into the goofy kind of like what Violent Night did, where it was just stupidly goofy. Yeah, I think, if you had added like a lot of blood and guts,
I think this would have been a so much better movie had they just bumped it up to an R and just played into it.
If you're not going to give us a good story with continuity and everything like that,
give us some cool deaths.
Give us a lot of cool deaths, and we'll forgive you for it.
Yes.
I feel like Blumhouse, whatever it is, usually makes R movies. I wonder if it was R, and then when they realized it wasn't super good, they decided to make it PG-13 so that more people could come see it, and then make a profit. Because as soon as you make a movie R, it's it like halves your audience base.
Yeah.
Easy.
I mean, could make the argument though that that's going to make the attraction for the R-rated movie though, that they'll see it.
You say that, but like I don't think Violent Night made very much money.
Well,
like I
that's a
think
tragedy.
you know what I mean? Like I think it broke even. Same thing for like the
It's
Menu.
also kind of a niche movie too, where it was a horror Santa movie.
Yeah, same thing for like the Menu though. Like a lot of our movies, it's very hard for them to like break into like the bigger,
Yeah.
community, like I guess like social media, so I think it's hard for them to break out of that when there are. But I agree with you though. I would have liked it much more if it was R.
Yeah. I feel like they could have done a lot more if it was R.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I said my least favorite scene. Do you guys have a least favorite scene?
Ooh. I'm going to say it's the whole first, everything before Megan shows up.
The whole movie.
Yeah, everything before they introduce Megan. I mean, Gemma sucks.
Gemma does suck.
Her two friends suck. Katie
sucks.
Katie
You can say it.
sucks.
She's a kid, but she sucks.
Okay, probably my least favorite scene is when they save the guy who's choking. He should have died.
Yeah.
That's probably my least favorite scene. Like
he should have died from choking.
well, just like
Give her
if
another
you're gonna
death.
have Megan hang somebody, finish it out.
they didn't even die from the explosion after.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, there's four deaths in this whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's being generous.
That's being generous. And so, like, that's probably my least favorite. Like,
Yeah.
they went through the effort of showing her like strangling him up with this thing, which sucks and was kind of cringy. But then it's like, nah, you're fine. Put an oxygen mask on in the back of a police car and you're good.
He's okay.
Not even an ambulance, but a police car.
Something about like remembering her like chained up there in that thing reminded me of like, I thought it was really stupid how quickly they progressed on building Megan. So like they had this like a terrible failure of a project showing to their boss.
That's in my continuity issues.
Yeah. And then like he's like, scrap this and do the job I told you to do. Which, speaking of which, poor boss. I've never rooted for a boss in a movie before, but like he's like, why aren't you working on what you're supposed to be?
Yeah.
And then how much money did you spend? She spent $100,000 plus
Of company money.
On something that she was working on a secret that she was told not to work on.
Yeah.
I would have fired her.
Yeah.
Two, so this terrible like showing for the boss, and then later something gives her the idea to make Megan again.
Well, it's
like,
because
Katie needed a friend.
Katie says if I had a toy like Bruce,
Yeah.
I would never need another toy.
But here's my problem.
She
It's
gets
like
re-inspired by Bruce, her original creation.
She had the
I
idea.
I can get that.
I think
But-
it's stupid. She had the idea for Megan, and then when that scene happened, I pictured it as, I have a great idea for a toy. And then she just builds it with no problems, no questions asked, and it works.
Here's my thing with that. So the boss lays into her about like, I want these by Friday. Not Katie. Gemma's working really hard to get that thing done. Then it's like, oh, I have a good idea for Megan. I'm going to put this off now.
Yeah, she like even types an email.
Like-
We're gonna have to delay the
Postpone.
prototype.
Like, how about get the prototype done? You're about to lose your job.
Yeah, I would have made like the cheap Furby they wanted.
Yeah.
Which, how hard can that be to do
I don't
at this company? Like with how much resources they have, make a cheap Furby that doesn't need an iPad app, and like, and then make your $100,000 robot.
Yeah. $10,000 cost, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very stupid.
Yeah, I don't get how we went from months and months of issues with Megan.
Mm-hmm.
We see Megan and she's a train wreck.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
She
snap your fingers. She's a completely working
Well,
model.
And like she wasn't even like prototype 1. Like they just got it right.
Yeah.
Like she just
She's
worked.
just- there she is.
To be fair, was she really a train wreck? I think it only failed last time because the guy forgot to put a part in.
That's true.
So really,
She
she
did
could
forget to put a part
She
in,
could have really.
so
She could have worked.
maybe.
Okay.
I'll give it to you.
Cole, quit defending Megan. That's my job.
I figured I was going to be on the defense this whole time, but I'm like, I can't even defend this movie
Yeah.
on a lot of those continuity
Okay.
issues.
Cole's got a point there. See, it's good we talked that out.
Yeah.
out. Oh, I had another thought. The boss's boss, like the CEO of the company.
No,
is-
wait. That's where it gets confusing. Gemma's boss is the CEO. The guy above him is like the chairman of the board.
Oh.
That it got confusing for me too.
Okay.
But they
Either
kind of
way,
explained it at the end.
The big head honcho. He's like, can this thing ship in a month? And she's like, yeah, probably. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no.
Yeah.
Like, this is a brand new, even if it was a toy, companies don't just ship toys a
Yeah.
month after the first prototype is made. And then let alone to be able to ship this, like this AI monstrosity. Like, that's just such a dumb oversight. Like, I was like, no company would ever operate like that.
Okay, if we're going on no company would ever operate on that, who's going to make a $10,000 robot for a kid?
If Elon
Who's
Musk,
going to buy
Elon
that?
Musk.
if
would.
Elon Musk had the technology, there'd be Megans right now. Like, if AI was that advanced, I guarantee.
But who?
The
don't
dude
know.
sold flamethrowers for like $800 just because he could. Right? Like,
He's a
I'm just saying,
madman.
like, I'm just saying, like, the idea is like, yes, it's bougie, yes, it's rich. Only the 1% are going to be able to afford these things. I guarantee if the technology was there, Musk would be out here shilling Megans on a Walmart
True, but
parking
he
lot.
also spent $40 billion on Twitter.
He don't care.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, it would get made
Just
if
'cause
the
he can.
technology was there.
I guess his company would be the only one ever to make Megan.
Yeah.
Don't give him ideas.
Yeah.
He's listening.
Maybe Mark Zuckerberg. The Zuck loves to spend money on stuff he thinks will be popular when it crashes and fails. Like,
But-
I think that.
Maybe, but I think Zuckerberg's putting all his money in the metaverse,
I give, yeah, you're right. Maybe he could make the Meganverse.
the Meganverse.
I do want to say, I was talking about like if the technology was there. I have a really big pet peeve, and this is even with Megan, just like life. I hate when people call things AI that are not AI. They're usually like machine learning, where basically you tell a computer program to run an algorithm against a wall 1,000 times, and then you tell it which ones are correct, and it goes, oh, I know to do this next time. That's machine learning. That's common. We've had that for forever. AI is whenever, like, if I ask Chat GPT to paint me something and it says, why do I have to do this? And it says no, that is a step towards AI. And I get mad when things call AI. People call things AI that aren't. So I was happy with this movie that it was actual, genuine artificial intelligence. Like,
Yeah. It had a brain.
in a brain, it questioned life, it questioned death, it strove for knowledge. I was like, hey, a movie other than Terminator that did like real AI, or iRobot. iRobot's a great movie. We should put that in for a movie night.
That's a
pick.
banger.
Unrelated. Man,
Remember Good Robot movie?
remember good? Yeah, like what was the robot movie, the animated one?
Oh, Robots.
Was it just called Robots?
Yeah. Had Ewan McGregor as Rodney Copperbottom.
I just remember the
Is
soup.
that his real name?
Yeah.
What? Rodney Copperbottom.
He's a robot.
I don't know how you remember that.
I don't either.
The only thing I remember from the robot movie is the super thick mom robot.
Oh, what was her name?
I don't know,
Aunt
Cole.
Fanny?
How do you?
It's
Where
Aunt
do you-
Fanny.
I'm gonna fact check.
How do you
this.
live your life with all this useless knowledge shoved
What
up
is it
in your
called?
head?
Robot.
Robots. It came out, I'm going to say 2003. My guess is 2003.
Oh, you're off.
I wanna keep this trend.
2005. 2005.
iRobot? Or Robots?
Robots was
Robots.
2005.
Robots. That's 2005. Okay.
What was the like super handsome robot's name?
Heck,
Like the antagonist. Do you know him?
I don't know his name.
Okay.
I only know the important
We
characters.
found his limit.
Aunt Fanny and Ewan McGregor's character.
There is a character, Aunt Fanny, played by Jennifer Coolidge.
Wow.
And Amanda Bynes is in that movie
Amanda
before she
Bynes
went
is
crazy.
in that movie.
And was Will Ferrell in it? Was it Robin Williams? Which one was
Who
it?
played the main robot?
It was Robin
Ewan
Williams.
McGregor played the main robot.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Copperbottom?
That was Mr.
Oh, I
Copperbottom.
thought that was someone different. Okay.
Ewan McGregor. There's a lot of big names.
We're,
Halle Berry,
we went on a tangent
Mel
about
Brooks. Robin
robots.
Williams. My goodness.
All right, guys, hear me out. Robot movie tier list.
You know what? I wouldn't hate it.
We need to
Is
do
Star
that.
Wars in that?
Yeah.
Terry Bradshaw was in Robots.
What, like the football player?
Yeah.
I did not like that movie. I have no good memories of that movie. I cannot believe you remember all this.
I don't know that I've ever seen it, but
I don't.
It's not.
I remember.
it's not a
it
great
from
film,
the-
but I remember it
remember
because
it.
Ewan's in there.
I don't recall enjoying it. Man. Okay.
Off on another tangent.
I think I've exhausted my complaints about
Yeah.
Megan. Does anyone have any final thoughts, or should we just go to the rubric?
I think we should just go to the
Go
rubric.
to the rubric.
we're
See
talking
what it
about
gets.
we're talking about better robot movies right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Plot. I'll go ahead and start. This was a tough one for me.
Yeah.
For what the movie did, what the movie wanted to accomplish, the plot was not terrible, but it was not good. Say it's a very middle plot. It got the story from point A to point V, and it had a lot of plot holes. I just said V, it meant B.
Point V.
Point V. It got the movie from point A to point B with a lot of plot holes, but I think I'm going to take off those points in continuity instead, and I'm going to be generous, and I'm going to give plot a 3 because it was exceptionally mediocre and it did what it needed to do for a Blumhouse horror comedy.
Mhm.
Yep.
Cole, what'd you give plot?
I'm with you on that. My nitpicks are going to be during continuity.
Yeah.
So I'm going to also give it a 3 because it was just a mid. It was a mittens.
It was Mittens.
It
Yeah.
was mittens. That story was mittens indeed.
Josh?
Sure was. I'm the same thing, but I was a little more generous. I gave it a 4.
Okay.
Similar thought process, but I took off points in some other categories.
All right. That's perfectly fine. Characters. Cole, why don't you start us off on characters?
Again, just very mittens. Like, I'm going to give him a 3. Like, just overall, I mean, there's nothing like, for like a horror movie, there's like, they have iconic characters like these, like some of these really good horror movies. I think this is not even a great horror movie, but just overall, the characters are just going to be really forgettable, I think. There's nothing like, they were dull and some of the acting was horrendous, but
Yeah.
I think the writing was just kind of meh.
Worse.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just give him a 3. I'll just go down the middle. It's a mittens cast of characters outside of Megan.
I actually gave characters a 2 because I hated every character in this movie. Like, not necessarily like the actors weren't the worst actors I've ever seen, but the characters that were written, terrible.
I also am giving it a 2. We talked about during Avatar, I said I thought the characters were okay. This is a movie that to me has bad characters. They're two-dimensional. They contribute nothing to any sort of emotional storyline with connections or ties, and like you said, forgettable. Just like the most boring, stupid, dumb characters ever. I did not, and like likability, didn't like a single one of them. I thought they were all trash. And
I was cheering for Megan the whole time.
yeah, I would have liked this movie more had Megan killed everyone, and then like with her like half ripped off android face, like walked into San Francisco getting ready to go on a murder spree. I think
that would have been a cool ending.
that would have been such a better ending. I would have loved this.
Cool.
I would have loved this movie so much more
Yes.
than what we got. We need to talk about the ending later. Okay. Direction. Josh, why don't you start us off on direction?
I gave direction a 3. Again, it's just a very meh movie. I did give it a 3 instead of a 2 because the shots weren't bad. Like, it didn't look bad. The CGI I didn't think was terrible. I mean, Megan looked like a fake doll.
Yeah.
So like there was some neat things, but as far as like overall, it's just in the middle. So I gave it a 3.
I'm actually almost right on the. I there are times that you could argue it could go up to a 4, maybe when the guy's at his best. When the movie's at its worst, it could go down to a 2. I think I'm also right in the middle. For what it's worth, I think Megan looked good. She looked creepy. She was in that uncanny valley of where I think she needed to be. And the CGI and like the actress playing her, I think the actress playing Megan did a very good job being robotic. So I don't know if that's a director's thing or not. I'm going to give direction a 3 as well. Cole?
I'm going to also go 3. I mean, again, Megan looked good, and it worked to her advantage that she didn't look quite right or anything. I mean, she's a doll.
Yeah.
So that worked. And I felt whenever it was action and had like some pretty cool kills in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those were. And then also just overall the tone when it did humor, it did it good. When it was trying to be a creepy horror movie, it didn't do it well. So it kind of canceled each other out.
I personally don't think I liked any of the kills. Like, not to say your opinion's invalid. But
I mean, when she's doing her little dance number, she's just slashing away. That was pretty cool.
I mean, the dance was mildly funny, and then she kills the guy in like one stab, and then slits
Well,
the next guy's
no,
throat.
evidently she ripped the dude's ear off though, and everything. That's a kill that she did. But no, a car ran her over.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Other than like I thought the kills
And the one chick got her face ripped off with a.
Yeah.
I think
pressure
for
washer.
knowing that like the people who worked on this also worked on like Saw, I think the kills in this were very uncreative. and
Well,
just,
I mean, it's
boring.
also a PG-13 movie.
That's what I was going to say.
Saw
I feel
was
like
R-rated.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
I feel like the kills were lacking because of the PG-13 rating that it had to stick with.
Yeah.
Like even the slashing kills with the knife or with the blade, you saw some blood, but it wasn't in your face. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Continuity. Oh boy. I'll start us out too.
Yeah.
This movie it wasn't trying to be science fiction and like being like accurate, but it just left me with so many like, what were they thinking? Or the really, I think at the end of the day, it's that they didn't think about a lot of things.
Mhm.
And like we talked about it with the funeral, with the timeline, just not showing us a lot of stuff. Continuity for me on this one. And I get it's not trying to be a super serious movie, but I think that's still an unacceptable level of they just didn't care to put enough thought into it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm also going to go with a 2 for continuity. I mean, we kind of pointed out most of, if not all, the issues on the continuity, and I'm sure there's some that we missed. It's just overall, like, plot was meh, like we said, but the continuity within the plot is just all over the place. It's a train wreck.
Yeah.
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 Josh?
So much so that this is my first ever 1.
Oh.
Sacre bleu. A 1. Okay.
A 1.
Tell me about your 1.
It for all the reasons that we already talked about. I mean, it just was bad.
Mm-hmm.
How did she learn to drive?
No,
How did she know the car was there?
She's an AI.
Did Katie's parents die? Because halfway through the movie, I kind of forgot. It was bad. It was
Okay.
just, I just didn't like it.
That's fair. I don't have a good argument against you. Like I personally think it's slightly better than a 1. 1 to me is like the worst, but this movie's pretty close.
For me, it was
It had
pretty darn bad
enough to push it.
Yeah.
That like you could make an argument for a 1 on that.
Alrighty. For a movie like this, maybe the most important category, enjoyment. Cole, why don't you go ahead and start us off with enjoyment?
4.
4. Okay.
It's dumb, but it's the best kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Would I like it better if it was an R-rated movie? Yeah, more than likely, because I feel like you could get more creative then. But I think for the movie we got, I mean, it's a fun just hang out with the group and want to watch something stupid. That'd be the perfect one.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't disagree with that. Josh?
I'm also a 4, basically for the same reasons. It was wacky, left me thinking, like, what did I just witness? I didn't give it a 5 because I feel like it could have been better with a rating R, but I feel like a broken record by saying that. But that affected a lot of my scores. I feel like it could have been better, but I had a good time.
I'm right there with you. 4. I enjoyed watching this movie with you guys in the theater. Like, it was a fun time. I don't regret it one bit. So I feel like not regretting going to see a movie automatically makes it like a 3 in my book. And it was funny. It had some very funny moments. Every time they were singing, if she was singing, and the whole audience was like collectively trying to stifle laughs because they weren't sure if they were supposed to be laughing or not. I got a kick out of that. Yeah, so I'm a 4. I'm a 4 right there with you.
Yep.
All righty. In your mind, drum roll, please. I need to program a drum roll in here. That'd be pretty funny. M3gan has a score, our new lowest scoring score, of 57.3.
Dang, Avatar.
Eat your heart out. So it was
a movie.
It was a movie. That's what I was going to say. So now I want to make sure we do this at the end. I wish I could have had it pulled up beforehand.
Rotten Tomatoes.
M3gan. Yeah, I want to look up the Rotten Tomatoes score, and I would have pulled it up beforehand, so I'm not searching for it now. But I didn't want to. I didn't want to see anything before going into this.
Yeah.
I think I'm on the wrong. I'm on the wrong movie. I typed in M3gan Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm looking at.
It's Muh Three Gan.
Yeah,
I'm looking
you
at
gotta type in the 3
two girls
or it comes up
kissing.
with something
M3gan
else.
is missing. Yeah, this is a different. M3gan with a 3. Muh Three Gan. All right. So without looking, and Josh, if you're looking, look away for a second. What do you think critics gave this movie?
Critics
78.
72.
78. Okay. What if I told you the critics gave this movie a 94%?
What?
I am literally, if my jaw could unhinge and hit the floor like a Looney Tune character, it would. I'm genuine. I looked at that and I had to double check I didn't click on the wrong movie a second time. Critics give good movies bad scores all the time for dumbest of reasons.
Did we watch the same movie?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like,
Look up what was a good one?
what'd they say?
No, like yeah, you know what? Look up what they say. I'm curious as to what they're justifying this to be a 94.
Before I do that, hold on. There's an ad at the bottom. Weekend box office results: Avatar: The Way of the Water rises to the 7th best grossing movie of all time. Just a fun thought. I saw that. Okay, before I go on to what the critics actually said, what do you think the audience gave this movie?
I cheated. I'm sorry. I didn't know we
Josh,
were doing the
I
audience
literally told you not to look.
Okay,
score.
I'll guess.
Audience score.
I'll guess.
Sorry.
I'm going to say 79.
You're really close. It's an 80.
Okay.
They gave it a B. Maybe where I'd expect a movie like this to be. Top critics. This is like the. I'm going to sort this. Like this is the top critic as far as I can tell. There's a different, far more substantial movie lurking within. Oh, hold on. It's loading into something else. So sorry. Yet the virtues of efficiency, clarity, surprise, and wit that enliven the one that's actually on screen leaves its merely implied substance tantalizingly unformed. That's the biggest alphabet soup of BS I've ever read. That was nonsense. Who? Richard Brody, I'm calling you out. I'm going to start writing reviews because if you can do them, I can too. Also, I'm confused. It said this review was written on January 11th.
Huh?
What?
Time traveler.
Hold on. What's going on here? It says this was written. All these are January.
It's January 10th right now that we're recording this. If
Hold on. Kevin Mayer's from the UK. Maybe Richard's from the UK. Are they ahead of us?
Yeah.
They ahead of us today?
Man, the UK.
Here's another one. This guy gave it a 4 out of 5. Once the moral parameters have been established, the film whips along with guilty pleasure panache. Muh Three Gan, like all great android anti-heroines, from Maria to Metropolis to Ava and Ex Machina, eventually goes wrong. That's just like a 4 out of 5? Really, Kevin?
No.
I don't know. Like, I get we all like different things. I gave Avatar a higher rating than a lot of people will. Like, I get it. We all like different stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm just curious if audience members were saying that, fine. But critics liking it to that degree, there's got to be some hidden message, some hidden, like, agenda that I'm missing.
I don't see it.
I'm blown away.
How did it... I'm just curious. How did it fare against the menu?
The menu?
What was like the critic score on the menu? Because that's a good movie.
I'm going to pull it back up.
That's like a solid, like, cinematic movie.
Critics gave the menu an 89%. So at least they gave it like B plus.
No,
but
and
it should not be.
An audience gave the menu a 76.
Audiences don't know.
Once again, a lot of people probably didn't go see the menu. The amount of ratings on the menu is significant. It's like half.
Yeah.
It's rated R. A lot of people probably didn't go see it for that reason. You can't take your kids to it unless it's Violent Night, in which case you take 12 of them. But like a lot of people probably didn't go see the menu.
Yeah.
Every time I've tried to talk to someone about that movie, they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "The Menu with Anya Taylor-Joy," and they're like, "I missed that one," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Well,
like
you missed out.
You missed a good one.
On a masterpiece.
I tell them that. And then I plug our podcast. If you
Yeah.
got this far, thank you. You guys have any final comments before we?
You
close
said
out?
something about you want to talk about the ending. Was that on podcast or after podcast?
No, yeah, let's talk about it. The ending. So throughout the movie, she has this like Perplexa. I have to not say her name because I have two of them in this room.
Oh, you hung them.
I did hang them.
Nice.
Don't say it.
Don't say it. But yes, she has a Perplexa-like device that looks and talks, and it's basically like her home assistant. At the end of the movie, after Megan has been slain, we see that thing turn and like open an eye. I saw that coming a mile away.
Yeah.
As soon as Megan hacked the house, I was like, okay, we're going to have like a smart fridge situation where it's going to be something stupid and she's not really dead. Because movies can't not set up a sequel nowadays. They just don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Unlike Violent Night, where I did want a sequel, I don't want a sequel to this one personally. So that was my question to you guys. Would you go see a Megan 2? A Muh Three Gan?
I mean, if they...
Would you go see Muh Three Gan?
If it was rated R, I would.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if they leaned into the more wacky kills slasher type film, I'd probably go see it just to see what it was about. But I probably wouldn't be like, I can't wait to see Megan.
I have to know that's what they're doing, though. So, like, Gremlins 2. Gremlins 1 was kind of wacky, but it was in this middle zone. And then Gremlins 2 was like, okay, people liked the funny Gremlins way more than they liked when we tried to be a scary movie, and they just went full zany. If they can tell me up front, prove to me that that's what they're doing, I'd go see a second one. But I will not be upset and kind of hope that they just don't make another one.
Yeah.
Personally. So that's really what I wanted to discuss. What you guys think of the ending? That was really just all I wanted to talk about.
your typical horror movie trope. They've done it since Halloween on just about every horror movie where it's like, oh, sequel, they're not really dead.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm waiting for the trailer where you just see like a bunch of like what it looks like hamburger meat form back together, and then you have like a hamburger meat Michael Myers just like start walking around and he picks up the mask and it's
my
like, he's
gosh.
back, baby.
You know
Like, I'm
what?
waiting for it.
You know what? I'm sure it still wouldn't be as bad as Halloween Ends.
I'm waiting for it. We should do a podcast on Halloween Ends just because that was actually one of the things I think that kind of made us want to do the podcast was talking about Halloween Ends and how much we disliked
But then
it.
by the time we got it going, it had not been relevant.
Yeah. So, alrighty. Any closing thoughts before we end it out? We're at an hour 10.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Quick hour 10. It really didn't feel like it. So, hey, if you made it this far, as always, thank you for listening. What movie are we going to see next? I really think it's probably going to wind up. We haven't officially agreed
House
on this.
Party?
I was going to say Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots,
Puss
maybe.
in Boots? I'm pushing House Party, but
Division House Party. You guys off MLK Day?
yeah.
Yeah.
Hear me out. Puss in Boots House Party back-to-back double feature.
Will it be out by then?
Yeah, House Party's going to be out Friday.
Oh, is it? Okay. Maybe.
Like,
Maybe.
we go see House Party. I think we should go see House Party first because that one I feel is going to take more brain energy than Puss in Boots.
Probably.
Go see House Party. We go get us a nice brunch with the bros, boys. The broys have a nice brunch, and then we go see Puss in Boots.
Maybe.
And then
if
we
we
hit
can
up-
make the times work out. Maybe.
Then we hit up Barnes and Noble again because I love Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
I like to pretend I'm knowledgeable and surround myself with books.
Yeah.
Say,
So.
House Party, we got to go to the King's house for this movie.
Go to the king.
Yeah.
LeBron James.
I'm excited for House Party. I think it could be good, but I'm also worried it's going to turn into just like every other party movie.
I mean,
where they just get celebrities in there just to have them be present. They don't actually add any substance.
my prediction, it'll be a dumb comedy, and that's what I'm here for.
If it's a comedy, I'm fine with that. But I feel like so many party movies just turn into the jokes are people getting high and drinking and like hooking up. And like that to me, that was funny in high school.
Yeah.
It's not funny now. So I'm really worried that that's what this movie is going to be. I hope I'm wrong. The hologram of him in the trailer gives me hope, like you said, that there's going to be more to this movie.
Yeah.
So I hope I'm.
Now we're gonna have to go see it. We kind of plugged that we're gonna go see the movie.
Well, we're going to go see it regardless. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hey, maybe the next time you hear us, we'll do a Puss in Boots
House party.
party movie review.
Man, what a duo of
We'll see where it goes. Hey, if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Please tell your friends about us. Show it to us. Show it to them. Show it to us. Yeah, show us the podcast.
Yeah.
Show us our own podcast.
I need a new podcast to listen to.
Yeah, we really appreciate it if you're listening along. We really enjoy doing this. Thank you very much for your support. Have a good night.